Brothers and sisters, good morning and happy Father's Day to all the fathers, to all friends who are physically gathering here. And we also have friends online. And today we are going to continue our last week topic on living in harmony with family. Last week, Sister Sandy talked about the importance of family harmony and also talked about the 4 principles of inclusion, of the 4 principles that leading to the harmony in relationship. And we specifically use it to apply it in the context of family for these 2 weeks. Yeah? And today, we are going to explore 2 more, which is taking care, and the last one is equality. Yeah. So when these 4 principles applied rightly in different contexts, for example, in a family context, in work context, in a social context, it will help us to manage that interconnectedness with others and apply it rightly and wisely. It will also make the relationship beneficial and create harmonious to help each other to achieve the well-beings personally and as a group. Now, let's go through. So in this sutta, Anguttara Nikaya, number 4, this was also shown last week. Yeah? So the Buddha mentioned that if the parents, at the last 2 para here, it shows that if the father and mother practice these 4 principles, then they will be respected and honored by their children and the family members. That's why we especially use these 4 principles in the context of family when we talk about this theme, living in harmony. Right, now let's talk about Dhana. Dhana, as I mentioned just now, is about the spirit of giving, the spirit of selflessness to give away what we thought is good for other people and not having that selfish and stingy mindset and attitude. Yeah? And the principle is always help others to be better, help others to be greater by selflessly giving what we have. It could be in a form of material, it could be in the form of time, it could be in the form of attention. Give attention, right? How many times your kids have told you that, Mommy, I need your attention? Or the father, they won't tell you I need your attention, but they will do all sorts of funny things to draw your attention, right? That is how kids nowadays creatively express their need for attention. And of course, we can give them values. Yeah? Parents are great. Yeah? Parents are great. You are really great in provide your unconditional love and give everything that you could. Yeah? Sweat, work very hard, do all sorts of things so that you can fulfill the needs of your family members. And this is the basis of practicing Dhana, which start from home. Yeah? And towards the loved one. Why? Because towards the loved one, it is easy for us to practice Dhana. Correct? It is easy for us to be less selfish and to be of service to those who we love compared to whom we don't know, or compared to whom we don't really be friends with. Correct? Agree, yeah? And as I said, today is Father's Day. In the past, I think in the past, a lot of emphasis have been given to mothers. Agree? Yes. Agree or not, parents? Father, do you feel jealous? No, I think in the modern society, equal importance is and recognition is always also given to fathers, yeah, to recognize your selfless love. In a way, fathers usually express their care and love to the kids in different way, not like mothers, but I think we, as we learn much about bearing gratitude, we also feel that admiration and gratitude to all the fathers and those who show fatherly spirit to provide for the family, to provide for the children, to give that sense of protection. I think children look up to their fathers for protection and to give sense of security, to give sense of belonging, and also to guide them in their life. And these are the things that we as a parents can give. But beyond this, what did the Buddha talk about give to the parents, give by the parents to their children? Buddha said, giving them Dhamma. In the Saṅgahasutta Sutta, the Buddha said that parents can help their children by first cautioning and preventing them from doing evil. A lot of time we will remind our children, don't do this, don't do that, do these wholesome ones and don't do the unwholesome ones. And by sending to Dhamma school, you're actually delegating part of your job to the facilitators, right? To let them learn how to prevent themselves from committing to unwholesome deeds. That is also good, because we need everyone to work together for the child's education. And second one is the other end, which is nurturing and training them in goodness. So sometimes we thought that doing good is easy. But if we don't learn what are actions or behaviors which are good, we may not know what to do to be good. Correct? Last time I thought being good is just being obedient. Whatever my mom said, yes. Whatever my father said, I just say yes. That is considered as obedient. Or respectful is just listening to their advice and carry it out. But actually it's more than that. And being good can be so many. If you learn the 10 meritorious deeds, even kids can do sharing of merits. Even kids can do sharing of Dhamma and can rejoice in others' goodness. So these are the ways that we try to influence them to do more wholesome deeds in their life. And the third one, the Buddha said, is providing them education. Education in this aspect means the worldly education, and the other aspect also means the Buddhist education, the Dhamma education. And the fourth one, seeing to it that when they obtain suitable spouses, when they are at the right age, not choose for them, but guide them to choose a right and noble spouse. So this is also the responsibility of a parent. And the fifth one is, at a proper time, pass on the inheritance to them at a proper time. And when is that proper time? Really depends on your own family condition. So, out of the 5, how many boxes have you checked? If you have checked all, congratulations. If you have checked more than half, congratulations. You are practicing the Buddha's advice. But if you have not yet, now that you know, then we can actually try to practice it. Gradually but surely. Now, let's see how the Buddha give to his son. Buddha has one son, and the son named Rahula has not met the Buddha before the Buddha returned to the palace for the first time. And what happened is that when the Buddha, after enlightened, returned to palace for the first time, the mother, Princess Yasodhara, called her son, Rahula, come. See the man there, the one leading the congregation of monks, is your father. So that was the first time Rahula get to know, I have a father and my father is returning. And princess said, go and ask him for inheritance. So Rahula, being an obedient 7-year-old boy, yes, okay. And he followed the Buddha. He followed the Buddha, and the first word he said to the Buddha is, Lord, even your shadow look so pleasing to me. Kind words, right? Yeah. And after that, he kept on talking until the Buddha was seated and ready to converse. And then he asked for inheritance. Please pass me my inheritance. And what did the Buddha have? Being a monk? Bowl? Ropes? Yeah, what did the Buddha have? And what did the Buddha give? Huh? Dhamma. The Buddha, with his wisdom, knows that this Rahula one day will become the king, right? He will inherit the throne and become a king. And despite he was not with him, Rahula was indeed being well taken care of in the palace by mom, the grandfather, and all the dayang in the palace. Right? So what did the Buddha give? The Buddha shared the Dhamma with Rahula and get 2 teachers to come and teach and eventually ordain Rahula. Having said that, I didn't ask you to ordain your son or your daughter. But I'm saying that the Buddha see that the ultimate need of a person or children, of a child, is actually the Dhamma, because that is what will guide him to propel in his life. That is actually the compass that he needs to be able to live his life peacefully and harmoniously, not only this life, but of the future lives as well. Yeah. So this is about giving. Second thing that we are going to revisit is kind words. Yeah. Now, Paya Wajang means amicable speech, or speech which are polite, sincere, which are not harsh. And why do Buddha give so much emphasis on kind speech or right speech? Because we know in our experience, harsh speech can divide people, and kind speech unite the hearts. Does anyone like to hear harsh and vulgar speech? No, right? And this is also a kind of wrong practice. This is also a kind of unwholesome practice. Now, and those who speak kind words is also a reflection of their mind, in reflection of a kind heart. But in our Asian society, yeah, traditionally, kind words are very difficult to be spoken. Am I right? Yeah. A lot of time, people struggle with unexpressed words or unable to express kind and pleasant words. Yeah. And sometimes, especially parents, the way they show their love, the way they show their care, may not be the most ideal way, may not be the way that we wish they could have done it. Yeah, may not be the way that when we compare to our family and friends, be the best way or the most encouraging way. Yeah, and because of that, I think it caused many household disharmony. Agree? Have you seen that? Yeah, especially I'm not sure, I'm not trying to be discriminate, but especially in the Chinese families. Yeah, we could see that because of the way things are not easily being expressed. Yeah. like to share with you one video. Sister Hishan can help to put up one video. When just now I said one of the duty is that when the children are at the right age, then we give them blessing to get a suitable spouse, a suitable partner, right? And usually in Chinese wedding, what would be part of the program? Where the bride and groom will give speech, right? And most parents, or most of us, would hear good speech, yeah, a lot of appreciation, a lot of kind speech during this good occasion. And I would like to share with you one video on what had happened that the groom shared about how he was brought up in his family.
Hello. I would like to thank Ma and Pa for being the worst parents in the world. Ma, I've always questioned why I was never sent for piano lessons like all my other friends. The only music lessons I got were at home. Free. Most of my friends went to esteemed tuition centers. My tuition was our neighbor, Miss Tan. Appreciate you being here, Miss Tan. When my best friend David spoke of his trip to theme parks in Florida, I sat quietly remembering our trip to... Where was it again? Yes, Bangkok. That fun fair beside the mall we kept going back to. No fancy birthdays at clubhouses, no magic shows, just Ma and Pa doing a few tricks. Look how happy I was. When I got my first paycheck, I was so excited to give you your first allowance. But you rejected it. Why can't you be like other parents? See, that's Pa for you.
Remember when you were just a boy? Didn't have it all, but we made room for joy. I think it's kinda telling we always made it through. The thing that made it easier was watching as you grew.
I had an amazing childhood. So what if I wasn't sent for piano lessons? Ma and Pa knew better. See? Karaoke champions. And being tutored by Miss Tan made me want to go to the same university as her, which I did. And there, I met Claire. And Ma, Pa, even though we never really celebrated your birthdays, you gave me the best birthdays a child could ever ask for. Had you given me everything I wanted back then, I wouldn't have everything I can have now. You juggled between spending money on me and saving up for your retirement. But you didn't do it for yourself. You did it for me. Now, Claire and I can focus on the steps we like to take in our new life together. Thank you, Ma and Pa, for showing us the way. And before I end, I would just like to say that Claire and I will do our best to become the worst parents in the world.
All I need are memories. My son with fire in his heart. All I need are memories. My boy who aims for the stars. Now that I see myself living through someone else, all I need are memories.
Brothers and sisters, a lot of time, the love and care are not expressed in the way that we wish for, but may not be expressed in the words that we wish to hear, but that is the act of love and act of kindness that our parents give to us. We received this question, maybe I just read out the question, from the participants of Service Sunday. I tried to speak kindly with my family members, but they label me as fake. So this brother or sister, I'm not sure, came to Nalanda, learned about speak pleasant speech and speak kindly, and then when he or she tried to practice at home, then the family members label her as fake. Why are you so different today? This reminds me of the experience that I always had when we practice mindful conversation. In a mindfulness class, when I practice mindful listening and mindful conversation, so the homework is you go home, find someone, the best is your partner, your spouse at home, and practice to converse mindfully. Means you just listen attentively, look at the person eye to eye and listen attentively to what he or she has to say. Do not interrupt, just note and repeat back what the person has said to you. And usually the next day, when they came back and share of their experience, they said, my spouse, my husband or my wife were shocked. Why? This is not like me. The comment is, that's not you, that's not you. But they could see the benefit of practicing. So after 1 week or after 2 weeks, they could see that, yes, when we listen to another person, when we give them space and room to change, to grow, to practice what they have learned, there is the effect. There is a changing positive effect to it. So, brothers and sisters, when we try to change, especially for being better, we could experience resistance. We could experience people who are not encouraging or even discourage us from changing. But the point is, look back at why we are here day in, day out, week in and week out. Why are we here? Because we want to be a better person. And when we learn the principles of how to be better, it gives no effect if we do not practice it. But when we practice it, there could be challenges. Acknowledge the challenges and move on. Courage. Recently, I have a pleasure to meet with some air stewardess, cabin crew. Some of them serve the normal passenger flights. Some of them serve the chartered flight. To be flight attendant in a chartered flight is like the highest in the rank. You are being handpicked to serve the VIPs. And I asked them, how's your journey like? Because I think not everyone would behave like air stewardess when they were young, when they were in school. I have some classmates who work as air stewardess. You look at them now, they are very much different from their younger days. In school, they may be even They may not be the most gentle person in the school. They may not be the one who speak very politely in school. Some of them could be tomboy even, right? But now they have changed. They have transformed. And what made them change so significantly for them is the ambition to fly, especially fly with good airlines and serve passengers in the charter flight. Yeah, and because of that, they underwent very tough training, very very different experience to be trained as a person who can serve, who can speak, who can handle emergencies, who can ensure, shift the mindset of making sure other people's safety is priority before yours. Yeah, so that is actually a rigorous training, but eventually the result was rewarding. So for us, I think we can also learn that when we try to practice, when we try to make changes, yes, there will be challenges, but stick true to what we want to achieve eventually. Yeah, hopeful for the outcome and courageously walk step by step. And on another hand, if we are the other party who we have our family members who try to practice, for example, the kids go back and tell you that, yeah, today we learn about how to give, and then they perhaps draw something to you, yeah, to express their love. They might draw something which is not your liking or may not be up to your expectation, but please be more encouraging. Yeah, please do not discourage people who are walking the path. And with that, the whole family can walk together gradually and encouraging each other, and you see that this support will bring you to the next destination. It will be a mile of improvement. Yeah, so let's be considerate and be supportive and understanding of others' learning as well. Now, the third one is about taking care. Atacharya. Atha means welfare or gain or benefit. And atacharya means helpful actions for the gain, for the welfare, and for the benefit of another person. Yeah? And this principle is also in line with what the Buddha said in Saṅgahasutta. In the 2 verses, yeah, out of the 38 blessings in life, the Buddha made a lot of emphasis on the qualities that we need to give to the family members in order to be happy and have blessings in life. The first one is to support mother and father and to take care of the welfare of our spouse and children. And the last one over here is also talking about selfless giving and looking after relatives and friends, which we pick up for today's sharing. So now, parents always take care of the children, but what about children taking care of parents? Yeah. And children sharing the commitment at home. When I was younger, before I learned Dhamma, I always have this thought, the home belonged to my parents, right? So everything at home is the responsibility of my parents. Being a child, we are protected and we are just like, we need to do our duties and just do our part, but we don't need to share the commitment of the family. Until I learned Sigalovada Sutta. The children have 5 duties towards the parent. And the first one is, once supported by them, I will now be their support. Then I started to learn that, what your parents do to you, in many things that the parents do to us, we can actually reciprocate. Very simple thing is filling up water in the jar or in the jug. Yeah? As children, we always receive care from mother, especially. Yeah? The water at home is always full. Yeah, it's being filled, boiled, and then filled. Then, as a child, what can we do? We can also take our duty, take our turn to boil water and fill the jar as well, but not expecting parents will do it all the while for us. Yeah? And perform duties to help them. Keep the honor and the tradition of the family. And make myself worthy of inheritance, meaning to say, if we inherit any wealth from the family, not only wealth, perhaps some other reputation, goodwill, then we also make ourselves worthy of inheritance. Do not waste it away. Do not turn goodwill to bad reputation. Yeah? And I will make offerings to them after they pass away. Because if we can make offerings to them while they're alive, that's much more better. Now, we all taught that buy gifts to our parents is good. Yes, it is good. Yeah, that's why it was in the first principle. But and we always thought that bring them for good food is very normal nowadays, right? Buy gifts, bring them to taste good food, and go for good holidays. It's very normal. It's like nowadays. It's like if you don't do that, you are like a bit odd, right? So it also gives pressure to the kids. But what is more important above all this is that quality time that we spend together, that harmonious moment that we spend together. Because if you can think, how much can our parents eat? If we reflect, how much can our parents eat? And there is always limit in the usage or the feeding of five senses. Yeah? How many holidays can you go in a year? Yeah? And how many holidays, how much can our parents travel? They may be already at old age and they would not want to travel. But perhaps, the wiser way to think about it is that what do we cherish out of this relationship? Perhaps it's more about the harmonious time that we spend together. Yeah. I just want to share with you one story. This grandma that I know have two sons. Yeah, so she usually lives with the second son, and occasionally she will go and live with the first son. And this first son is very successful, very famous, yeah, have many children at home, and are very well-to-do, have big house, bungalow house, and all this. But whenever this grandma need to, in a way, it's like when she was being invited to go over, she's not happy. And when she came back, she is also not happy. She didn't feel that joy. Whilst when she stayed with this second son, she always happy and talk about the grandchildren and so on and so forth. So one day I asked Grandma, why are you not happy over your elder son's place? You go there, big house. Here is just a wooden house, yeah. Because the second son is not so well-to-do, so just a wooden house and very cramped, dirty, not as clean, because over there you have maid. You go there, many people will serve you. They have two maids, you don't have to even do anything. Over here, you have to cook, and then you have to wash. And then she said, yeah, despite having this thing, but my son is always busy. He's not at home. when I have meal, I had with the maids, with the two maids, and I have no one to talk to. Yeah, my grandchildren are also very busy, full of lessons, full of tuitions. That's why they are very good in their academic. But I feel very lonely. Well, staying here, despite small home, not as good, no maids, I have to do many things, but I feel I am being valued. And children come home and talk to me and all this. So from that, I learned, sometimes we thought we are giving the best to our parents by providing many things, but actually that is not what they want. And for all of us here, if we have learned the Dhamma, then that is also a better way to engage with our parents. Despite conversion, having that engagement in other areas, we can also talk to them about Dhamma, talk to them about principles in life, and talk to them something that gives them happiness that they can bring, not only in this life, but also after this life. I think as we age, we also see ourselves or our friends have experience of needing to take care of aged or sick family members. How many of you have experienced that or seen that? A lot, right? Especially as we grow older. And it is really not easy, to take care of a sick person, especially those who are very close to us. Agree? Yeah. Because of the sickness itself, the physical sickness, and also the mental sickness affected by this physical sickness. So in taking care of other people, how do we still be able to maintain our sanity, so-called, maintain our practice, maintain what we ought to do in our daily life, taking care of our own family, taking care of ourselves? How can we do that? And I seriously admire and salute those people who are able to do that, because we know it's not easy, and the dynamism of changes that sick people are experiencing is indeed unimaginable. So I thought today is also a good opportunity for me to invite our sister who have this experience of taking care of sick family members, aged parents, but at the same time have been very strong, courageous, and keep her practice as a Dhamma practitioner. Can we invite Sister Pauline? To share her experience.
I'm Sister Pauline, as introduced by Sister Buddhini just now. Not that like overpraised by Sister. I'm just a normal, like every one of you who try our best to serve, the old parents. If you do have parents, still alive, please treasure them, appreciate them. I'll just allow me to share a little bit about what I have experienced. That happened 2 years ago. I live with my, I'm going to talk about my late mother-in-law. So I lived with her for 20 years, right? And then she was just about 4 or 5 years before passing away, right? She was diagnosed with colon cancer. And with that, a bit, sometimes, the emotions and all that, can be quite sensitive, not easy to deal with, right? Even though when she was able to walk, right? So she was, in later part of the years, she was admitted to hospital quite frequently, as frequent as 6-7 months. Why? because she got to do blood transfusion. Otherwise, if you look at her eye, right, you can tell, when pull down this part, it's pale, no blood, no sign of the normal person. And she will be very fatigued and kept sleeping, no appetite, no strength and all that. So it's because of that, then we know, taking care of these people we know. So then Brother Mu, my hubby, would then immediately rush her to a hospital. So it has been like that it started 2 years before she passed away. So towards the end, right, so from 6-7 months, need to rush her to hospital to slowly become shorter and shorter, and she became weaker and weaker every time she got admitted. And every time the days of stay in hospital became longer, right? And the longest and also the last admission took her about more than 2 weeks. And then she got discharged. Not because she was ready to discharge by doctor, but because she requested for it. She wanted to be discharged, and that time she was bedridden, few months, not long after she got discharged. So after that, it was hospice who came over to my house, because practically it's not easy to send her to a hospital anymore. So she was on morphine, and every time she will cry out at night, seeking for assistance, wanting attention, a lot of anxiety, fear in her. We could sense it. And she couldn't, because of bodily pain, right, she couldn't even move her limbs. So the carer would then have to move her manually, every now and then. A lot of, you just imagine somebody was just lying there, cannot move, but the mind restless, a lot of pain physically, both physically and mentally. So as a carer, we just have to, take care of our sick family member like that, right? All we can do is we try to make her, comfort her, both from mental and also, the acts, how we behave, how we talk. It can be very, how should I put it? Both physically and emotionally quite difficult, very challenging, I can tell you. Not until you, but I think some of us, you do have, that kind of experience, but it's just that you keep it to yourself. But the strength comes from where, when I recall Buddha's teaching, Buddha said that serve the sick is like serving him, Buddha himself. So that kind of recollection gave me strength and all that. And I did more and more, and not just me, my family did more and more chanting, more, and then we practiced more diligently from the suffering that we have seen, So, because we wanted to share merits, transfer merits eventually, after she passed away to her. So because of that, we built up even more, faith and all that towards Buddha, the Lord Buddha, and also his teaching. It's really, we know that it's really, can't wait. We have to practice and keep practicing and practicing, keep learning and keep learning. So the journey is a long journey, but life after life, we got no choice, yeah. So it was that time that it also made me realize that it's very important to, to perform Dhana on behalf of the sick and elderly person at home. So perform Dhana on her behalf. Before that, she was, every few seconds, she will ask, because cannot move, so she will ask the family member to cry out, ask to move her, leave, try to help her to to sit up, but she couldn't, practically she couldn't. She's like whole body collapse and then fall on. So that weight, she was actually bigger size and taller than me, although final stage of colon cancer already, but lost a lot of weight, but still quite heavy. So it was really, we need 2 persons to carry her, when bathing her, that kind of thing, when making her to just sit up a little bit, even though with the hospital bed that can be adjustable, but still, you need to massage and all that. So even middle of the night, few times, you put her, reposition her, right, like lying position, then move her up a little bit, then she said, okay, some more, more and more, keep on moving her, forward, that kind of thing. Not even up yet, she will say pain already, called pain, and then down again, back to lying position. But sometimes not even touching, the back, not even touching the bed, called up and said, no, lift me up again. So for that, until a time, both myself and my husband was thinking something, not quite right. So we decided then we went to a temple, right? Offer robe on behalf of her, Dhana and all that, to the monk at that time. And a few days later, she became better. She could sleep quietly without calling out for us, on and off, that kind of thing. So throughout the whole journey, right, what I could see is it is very important while we take care of our sick family members, right? We ourselves have to take care of ourselves as well, and don't let the mind sick. It's okay if the body become, tired, but the mind has to be always clear, right? With all the positive thinking. And how do we do that? Always bring in, recall back the Dhamma that we have learned. It really helps us pull through that difficult moments, yeah. So that's my experience. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister. Thank you, Sir Pauline. I think, among those who are sitting here, I also know that you are also, in a way, some of you are taking care of your sick parents, sick siblings, sick children. Yeah. So I think a good learning point. While we take care of our loved ones, make sure we also take care of ourselves. Self-care. By how? By being strong in our mind. Do not let all this sickness affect our mind. And what we as a community here in Nalanda can do is we can offer our prayers. Yeah. So if you know anyone who is not well, who is sick, that need our prayers, our metta, then you can let us know, let the office know, and then we will do the chanting and dedication on Sunday, on Thursday when we have meditation class, on Uposatha Day when we come together to do service. It is also good because when we share these good things we do on behalf of our loved ones who are sick, we give them some hope. We give them some positive news that when they hear, oh yeah, there are people who care for me, there are people who are supporting me, there are people who send me so much thoughts of loving kindness, and with that, hopefully can relieve their mental suffering. Yeah. Now, when it comes to relationship or interconnectedness with another person, perhaps it's good for us to evaluate what is the most important things or what's the essence of this relationship, right? Is it about how the things are being done, or is it about we want them to keep agreeing to what we said, we want them to always follow us, or anchoring it to the value of the things that we are doing? So see beyond all these differences, what are the things or what are the matters which are common. I believe there would be something which is in common for both of us, both sides. Yeah? And from there, try to focus on what is essential and lean on the essential and get some agreement out of that. I have my friend who doesn't want to hire maid and always put duties, duty roster at home for the 2 daughters to help out in all sorts of house chores. In the view of her relatives, she is really a wicked mother, that everything has to be done by the family, not even hiring a part-time maid. But in her view, she said that I'm aware I am fragile. I can perish at any point of time. If I go off, what will happen to my young daughters? So my point is, train them since young. Along the way, they learn different kind of housework. Yeah? So because of that, a lot of relatives are not happy, even their own siblings, her own siblings are not happy with her. Yeah? But she has certain values behind it, and she made it clear to her daughters. And now her daughters have already, I think, completed SPM. A very independent person. And she said, I'm not worried to send her to wherever she wants to go after this to pursue her studies. Yeah? So that is anchoring on certain value. I have another friend who seems to be very weird among the peers. Yeah? So her son has started working, but didn't want to move out from her home. And her point is that she wants her son to be independent, but at the same time, she also wants a company at home, right? So there is a little bit of serputa. But she thought about it. Her son liked to go out with friends, and every time out, we'll just go party and all these things. So he didn't have much saving. And he thought, I will collect rent from my son. 800 ringgit per month. That is a standard room rate in KL. And when she said that to her son, of course, when she didn't explain the reason, the son got very angry. I stay at home, people stay at home, no need to pay. Why do I need to pay when I stay at my own home? And then her argument is that this is my home. and the son behaved very rebel, yeah? Said that, this is for my home, and then now I become a tenant. Then I will behave like a tenant. So 2 of them were having a short fight, And in the eyes of relatives, this mother is, really bad mother, The son worked already and then used this rental to get money from the son. But after a few months, she started to explain. Explain to the son, and she used that money, after a few years, she used that money to pay for her son's down payment of a house. To show that, the value is not about wanting your money, but it's actually help you to do saving. It's a forced saving kind of mechanism, and help her to get a property. So a lot of things when we do, we may not get acceptance from the rest of people, but we need to be very clear that what is the value behind. It is for taking care of them for their benefit. And of course, the best part is if you can communicate amicably, then it will improve the harmony within the family. Let's learn a little bit about how the Buddha treat his relative. Okay, this is one. how the Buddha treat his relative. Buddha is so high up, right? He's really out of the world. And his relatives, a lot of them are still not a practicing Dhamma practitioner, Dhamma follower. And there were also a lot of different views. So how did the Buddha treat that quarrels or fight or different views among relatives? Heard about this story of quarrel over the use of Rohini river water? When the Buddha was at after the Buddha's enlightenment, okay, there was this incident that happened between the Buddha's country, kingdom, Kapilavatthu, and the neighboring country. And you know that time it was an agricultural society, so people need water. And at certain time in India, the water level of the river is really low. And if you share the water half, yeah, it is not enough to supply to the crops. So if you share it half, you will not be able to make sure your crops are all taken care of. Yeah? So what happened is that the two kingdoms started to fight. At the bank of the river, they fight over this water, and they almost started to kill each other just because of water. Yeah? And the Buddha, when he rose from his meditation and he saw with his compassionate eye, there's this war likely to happen. And when war happens, killings will happen, and it will not only affect them, not only affect the country, it will also affect the family members of these people. So the Buddha rose and appeared on the sky with his supernatural power, appeared on the sky and talked to these two countries' soldiers. Asked them, what are you quarreling about? And down the line, the soldier said, yeah, we fight over the water because we need this. We need this to supply to our crops, and we can't share it. It's not enough. The Buddha was very compassionate, yeah, and he showed to them. He told them, "You are trying to kill each other, blood, yeah, just for the sake of water. And if I don't appear here, I think now the river is already filled of blood." So, yeah. And then the Buddha preached. Yeah, the Buddha preached, and subsequently, they did not launch the battle. Thanks to the Buddha, that no lives were taken during that time. Yeah, and the Buddha said this: among those who hate, we live without hating. Among they hate, we live without hating. When we live extremely happily among those who hate, meaning to say, there will be people who are not happy over many things that we do. There could be people who are not aligned with us in terms of our views, our values, our practices. Even when you want to do good, you come and want to practice the Dhamma, there would be people who tell you that, no, this is not the right way. This is not how you should spend your life for. This is not what you should spend your weekend for example. And they could be unhappy with you on the things that you do. But in our heart, yeah, do not let this anger arise. Do not let this unpleasant feeling turn to become something unwholesome that we use to harm another person. Look at how Devadatta treated the Buddha. Devadatta is the Buddha's cousin brother. And you know how Devadatta treated the Buddha? He tried to kill the Buddha. He caused split in the Sangha. Yeah? Say many things, do many things that cause split amongst the Sangha members. And even tried to kill the Buddha a few times. But it was not successful. But the Buddha had never say any bad things, yeah, had never have any hatred towards Devadatta, but instead compassion. Yeah, so that is how we can emulate the quality of the Buddha to treat what is happening to us when we face hostile scenario. Yeah, okay. Let's talk about equality, the last quality. The word is samana tata. Yeah? It is treating other people as if they are you yourself. It's like putting yourself in other people's shoes, and not only in terms of showing the action, but also mentally connected by feeling the empathy. Meaning to say, you feel the mental happiness or mental suffering that the other person is experiencing. And you express that empathy towards the other person. Now, the question that we get is about how to treat my children with equality. Those of you who have more than one child, I think you will experience this. Do you? There's always a doubt about how do I treat my children equally, right? And many parents will treat their child differently, and sometimes they ask whether that is the right way. Yeah. So for these doubts, now, how would the Buddha advise? Can we treat our children equally? Meaning to say, if this kid need 2 books, then we have to buy 2 books for every one of them in the family. If I give 3 ringgit of pocket money to my eldest, then I have to give 3 ringgit to all. Can we treat them equally in that way? Can? Cannot. Yeah, cannot. But in their eyes, they may see that you are biased. Right? Now, then it boils back to understanding of the doctrine of karma and conditionality. We got to understand every child is different. Every child or every person is different, is unique. They bring with them different conditionality, different karmic condition. And they cannot be treated the same. Yeah? Because why? The same treatment may not bring the best out of them. Yeah? If you have 2 kids, for example, one is very good in academic, one is not so good in academic, but very talented in drawing, for example. Can you give them the same education? Ask them to ask them to study the same thing, same course. Cannot. So as parent, I think the role is more about understanding the temperament and the character of our children, mold them, and give them opportunity and platform to flourish, to live out their best potential and guide them towards achieving whatever that serves them best, and to give them the well-being in life. I think that is the equal value or views that we can give to our children. But approach could be different. The subject matter could be different. Yeah, I think you get it. Yeah, so that at the end of the day, the outcome is harmony in themselves, achieve the life fullest potential, and more importantly, is the same value that guided them towards achieving the outcome. Yeah, so I think I can share this key principle that we can have, so that we tailor-made our approach and our treatment to our children, which at the end is based on the best intention that we can have for them. Generation gap, yeah. In the family nowadays, we also hear a lot of comments about we always have conflict because of generation gap, right? Generation gap, especially now, a lot of families have 3 generations under one roof, yeah. The parent, and then the grandparent, and the children. And in the past, maybe generation gap is for the gap of maybe 10 years or 20 years. But nowadays, I feel that the generation gap is getting smaller and smaller, especially when I heard, youth like Sui Lun, like youth also told us that, the fresh grads nowadays, their work attitude is very different. And there is a generation gap. When I heard that, I got a shock. I said, you are still in the 20s, and then you have generation gap with the 21-year-old fresh grad. Is that real? And apparently it's true. In their mind, they have generation gap with the fresh grads, for example. And I felt that, and if this is causing a lot of conflicts and disharmony, then we really need to reflect about why is it so? Why is it so? And how do we solve it? How do we play our part to solve it? Do you experience that, Minje? Yes, you're only 30 plus, right? In the 30s also experience generation gap. Yeah, so we have to think about how can we not be fixated in our view. How can we be also part of the younger generation? And what are the things that we need to do in order to be included in their world? Yeah? And also, how do we try to make them to understand our view and the way why we behave, or why we say certain things, or why we do certain things? We have another video that I thought to share with you about generation gap. See what we can draw from this video.
When was the last time a recipe meant something to you?
Alex, there's lots to do today. Hurry up.
Does that look familiar?
妈，我来。不用，好了，你帮我关火就好。OK 的。哎。好的，下次鸡饭我煮 ，OK？ 你煮，好心你啦，每次在教你啊，你又没有用心听。啊，
来，我们走。Alex, take the shopping bag for me, please.
跟你小时候一模一样。
真的拿他没办法。
哎呀，不用担心啦，他算是已经很乖了啦。来，我们去买材料做阿扎。选黄瓜哈，它的皮要滑要亮；选萝卜哈，要有一点硬硬的，吃了才会脆，好像这样。熟的黄梨哦，它颜色会比较黄，味道也比较香。你闻闻看。我讲这样多，你记得吗？
安迪，
哎，
又做阿扎啦。
是咯，大家喜欢就做咯。以前安哥也是一天可以吃一罐，跟他的孙子一样。哎，
他跑到哪里去？ Hot chips again？
你看它的颜色要美，你要按下去，它还会弹回来。你看，像这样，
这只是吗？
对，这只好。
Mom, are we done? Is this even the chickens will start walking already?
哇，它终于开口了。出力啊，够了就拿去煮，小心啊。
早。哎，那么早啊？你需要什么？来，我帮你找。一年就这样过去了，很快哦。
1年了，我还是煮不出它的味道。
慢慢来啦，可以的。那这个好，谢谢。
For the crunchiness, remember?
You've been listening all along.
I miss her a lot too, you know.
When was the last time a recipe meant something to you? For me, it was when I realized it's something we remember people by. Something that stays with us for the years to come. Something that's worth holding on to.
Can you see the difference? How a grandma break the generation gap. Yeah, and as mother, we always think that we are better than you, or we know more than you. You know, we are at a higher level than our kid, and there is always because of this view, we created invisible barriers. Yeah? So you see grandma being loved, being caring, showing love without putting up any mask. That is something that make us get connected. The last slide, there is a question about, on the surface, the relationship among family members is harmonious, but deep inside, there could be matters which are difficult to speak about or discuss openly. How to overcome that? I think before we go through that session, I would like to invite Sister Doris to share with us her experience on how she overcome that. As everyone here, I think you know Sister Doris. She is married to our Brother Vincent, is not here. And she has 2 lovely daughters, yeah? And they live in a simple, they are a simple family. and came to Nalanda a few years ago, learned the Dhamma. And of course, as what is happening to many of us, there are challenges that we face in a family. Yeah? Kids may not be listening to what we want to tell them. You know, there would be certain time where communication are not open. It appears to be harmonious, but actually we are not having a real harmony in family. And how do we overcome that with the principle of Dhamma that we have learned? Can we have Sir Doris? Yeah.
Namo Buddhaya. Allow me to share my learning journey to live in harmony with my children. At the very beginning, I will like, I say, you listen. I say, you follow. Why? Always think that mothers always think the best of our children. What I say, sure is the good for you. But slowly, when they grow up, they have their own way. They not do what I expected. So there's disagreement, there conflicts, arguments. So the relationship a bit tense and unhappy. Therefore, there's no harmony. But after learning Dhamma, I learned that actually they're just like that. Everyone has his or her own condition. So I learned to accept it with understanding. Of course, that's not easy to me. Could be due to mother ego. At the very beginning, I need to endure. Just for example, when children threw me their temple, at the very beginning, I was scolded them. I scold them back. I say it's not respectful. But inside my heart, think of it. Is it I scold them is for their want to educate them that it's not respectful, or because I angry? It's due to my own anger. So slowly, I learned to endure, like just now what I mentioned. I just keep quiet. But inside my heart, still burning. Just not say out only, still burning. So then at later stage, I learned to forgive with metta. How to say that? I reflect. As an adult, actually, I not really can manage my emotion in a very good manners. How do I expect a teenage to manage it perfectly? So with that reflection, the same thing happened. I keep quiet, but with no anger. Then I just wait for the right time to have the opportunity to discuss and to share the experience with my children. So I found that our relationship improved and is more effective. So my dear friends, when parents change, children can see it. They will slowly change as well. I strongly believe that parents should be the one to move the first step of change for the benefit of family harmony. Let us explore more in this learning journey for the harmony of the whole family. Sukhi Hontu, may all be well and happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Doris. Yeah, I think to endure, and also to understand. I think that is key in keeping the harmony in the family. Yeah. I also get some feedback from a sister who shared that in her home how she promote harmony. Yeah. One is acceptance, like what Sister Doris shared just now, is when someone agreed to her good intention, she was very happy. Yeah, of course, and it harnesses this good relationship and create harmony. Of course, the next point is whether when people don't agree to your good intention, would you still maintain that harmony? And that is another level that we all ought to learn. Yeah, but she also mentioned to me that when people don't agree to your good intention, you still can prevail that care and concern. Yeah, and that is how family is being bonded, regardless of whether people agree to you or not. That you work it out, you work the relationship out. And another part is about willingness to help, willingness to come out to help or do whatever without hesitation, yeah, whenever being requested. I think this is in relation to the children. When the children do what she requested, or family members requested without hesitation, that shows that the children care and concern for the well-being of the family. Yeah, sometimes the words will come out in our mind that why you can do this with your friends but you cannot do it for me. Especially now when parents need help in the gadgets, for example. You know, why you know this and you cannot teach me. You know, there are a lot of thoughts about that actually divide us with our kids, and try to be more mindful about all these thoughts so that we do not build our own invisible barriers wall. Right? Now this is I think this is the last question that we get. To conclude today's session, I thought of also sharing this last video about this opportunity to promote harmony. Yeah, this question asks about, you know, when there is differences and whatnot, how do we reconcile? Yeah, how do we make sure that there is a real harmony in place at home? A lot of time is about grabbing that opportunity to say it and to communicate it. Yeah, just like Sister Doris shared just now. Yeah, you want to teach your children, but there is also a time for it. But don't wait too long. Yeah, find the right time and say it or educate it to make sure that this real harmony prevails. At home, it is about shared commitment and shared joy. Yeah, joy needs to be expressed. It's rather easier, right, to express joy. It's a bit challenging to express conflicts or differences. Yeah, I show you this video to encourage everyone to say what you ought to say in good spirit, yeah, in helping to promote that connectivity among the family members.
This is slightly intimidating. Dad, what about me makes you proud?
Oh, man.
Dad, what about me makes you proud?
Dad, what about me makes you proud?
Oh, man. Dad, what about me makes you proud?
And I have to answer that one? Yes. Just about everything that you do. You're loving, you're funny, I could go on and on.
What makes me proud about you is you just being yourself.
I had trouble with alcohol. It was actually an intervention. Even with all the other people there, you were the real reason that I made the decision to go into the treatment center that I did. And thank you.
Thank you. You're helpful. Yeah, you forgot the funny part.
Your attention to hygiene.
Dad, I'm grateful to you for choosing to stay when I was little. Why am I crying?
At the time when I'm graduating and I'm packing up and leaving, then it's really gonna hit me. And
I think about a time when if you're not around, like that would be awful. But like you're the person that would always laugh.
Dad, I'm grateful because we didn't know how long you were going to be with us, so we're so happy that you're still here.
Dad, I'm proud of you for knowing that the most important thing was to just give your kids so much time.
I've always been impressed by you. You made it easy.
Thanks.
I miss having the chance to just check in with you. I miss your sketchbooks.
I love you. I love you too. We don't say it enough.
Hey.
I love you, Dad. It doesn't compute until they're gone. So tell them now.
Thank you. So to brother or sister who asked the question just now, yeah, we empathize with you. I think we all share that sense with you. It's difficult to address conflict, and sometimes you can see it's even also difficult to express good things, joy, gratefulness, which we ought to express and we ought to do. Yeah. So try. Start from the good ones. Start from saying good things. Start from expressing what you really feel and you're really grateful about someone. And from there, we will learn the art of communication. Yeah? And more importantly is that see the heart of each other in the family that binds all members of the family to be together and stay through thick and thin. Yeah? And as I mentioned, as a last reminder, I think I would like to quote what Sister Sandy shared. Family members are not furniture. Yeah? Furniture is like always there, right? Go in and out, go anywhere. After many years, you're still there. Yeah, but they are not furniture. They are made of blood and flesh. They have their mind, they have their feelings and emotion. And we, everyone in the family, take responsibility to ensure the harmony of this relationship and this to make good of this interconnectivity. Yeah. So with this, thank you everyone for your attention and participation. We will conclude the talk.